Right, okay, we're going to test out this wood stove. You can see it all there, right? Okay, so a wood burning stove is only as good as, other than the construction, and we'll talk about that later, it's only as good as the fuel you put in it, and that could be to start it. Here we've got some birch, pine cones, and some bark, some birch bark here to get this thing going really well. I don't want to leave a mess on the ground here, which is important not to do that. So let's see if we can get this thing going. Okay, so what I'm going to do is partially open this down here, and that will, you see, there's less smoke now, because what happens is this lets more air in through the bottom, and it's still, the ashtray will still capture the ash. The ash won't drop out onto the ground, but it allows a bit of extra air to flow under there, and it burns cleanly. See that there? That's really raging. Let's put that, doesn't need to be on there yet, but you can put this to your mouth and use this to get the thing going. This is so you can pick things up. You should even pick this thing up and move it without burning yourself. All right, it's a great idea. Okay, so many people put pots on top of it like this, right? And it started smoking like no tomorrow. And you can see there's no smoke here at all, and the flames are actually coming out of here, like here. You can see that there, and that's perfect. You know, and the air is blown through here. There's ventilation. I think, you know, to avoid smoke, like any fire, you have to have the right fuel, and then the right combination of fuel and air getting into there. So we've got this partially open down the bottom because it can act as a vent, the bottom of the tray, and look, it's smoke free. It's smoke free. Okay, we're going to take that off. That was just really a test for that. Okay. All right, so you can see this thing is absolutely raging. We put a small bit of beech in there. What we're going to do is we're going to start cooking our food, right? So we've got some marinated meat. Okay, so this thing is just going perfectly. And the good thing is, because it's got a twin wall in it, you know, I can safely put my hand here. It's not too hot to hold my hand here, right? Like that. So that's pretty good. It's working perfectly. Could not be better if you tried. Right? Right, okay, the thing about this is actually a really good stove, and I have to say that people that are reporting on it not being any good, I'm going to say they don't know how to use it properly, you know, and think about the design of how this thing works. We put in there like just 4 small pieces of birch timber and a few pine cones, and this thing is just raging. It's working perfectly. A very small amount of wood. It's very efficient. Yeah, it's just really efficient, and you can, if you want to, you could put in, you know, stuff through there. I'll just turn this around there because we don't want the handle on that to get hot. So yeah, this thing is just absolutely perfect, and that meat is pretty much cooked. So let's get the other one on there. That's cooked perfectly. That's heaps of heat. It's just raging perfectly. Perfect. Okay, I'm going to say this thing is actually really quite good. I mean, it's cooking meat on a much lower flame there. You can see that there. It's just the heat from the coals in there. And this is a bit slower now. So, as I said, you know, it depends on how you load the thing up, what kind of wood you're using, the calorific value of the wood, whether it's a hardwood, softwood, you know, lots of resins in it, whatever. Just to show you again, we used about half a length of a piece of this. So that's what we've got left from it. That's the diameter, you know, a couple of inches almost across there, not much. So it's really fuel efficient, that's for sure. Decathlon's like a big generalistic outdoor store. You know, basically, I don't know if it's certainly in the northern hemisphere. I don't know about the southern hemisphere. And this is a wood stove. The model is the 500. And it's from Decathlon's sort of own brand. I'm probably going to pronounce this incorrectly. The QUECHUA. We'll put it up in the description anyway. And many on the internet have said it's lousy and it doesn't work and it's too smoky. Well, I'm going to say they didn't know how to use it, because if you know how to use it properly, it is definitely not smoky whatsoever. Even if you totally occlude the top surface there, it is not smoky at all. And we've just cooked on almost no wood whatsoever. 2 marinated pork chops over there, some pig, and yeah, so I think the stove works absolutely fantastic. And as I said, yeah, just use some beech wood. I cut the wood with a saw. We put in bits about this big, split them up. You've got this handle which you can move, do everything with without it getting hot. They even call it the cool hand, I think, because it's hollow. You can blow to start the fire. We didn't need to do that. But yeah, absolutely works fantastic. So I totally recommend this, and would give this a 10 out of 10. It's not for camping because you'd have to, you know, it takes a bit of, you know, room to carry things. But what you can do is you could take this thing away for day hikes. You can put food inside of it, actually. It has not left any, let's have a look under it, hold on. Okay, it hasn't left any ash under it whatsoever, so it's done its purpose. It has not heated the ground and destroyed the ground, so it's perfect for that sort of situation where you don't want to leave a mark where you've been having a fire.